Tara, Erin, it's David Bronstein, your biggest fan. Or you, who's the fan? Am I the fan, or is Tara and Erin, her sister, the fan? I'm your fan because you are unbelievable. This message about Doghouse, it's easy for me to say. I had my nose fixed. My mouth doesn't work. You're unbelievable. Who remembers Doghouse other than me and Tara and Erin? Doghouse. You're wonderful, and I appreciate you signing up to my cameo and talking about Doghouse. So here's the deal with Doghouse. My wife in 1990. My wife was pregnant. I think it was my wife. Obviously not watching this. Was pregnant. And we didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl. And Andrea has all her friends who are all pregnant at the same time. They say the same thing. We don't care what it is as long as it's healthy. We don't care what it is as long as it's healthy. And then one of her friends gave birth, and the baby came out crying, and she couldn't see the baby. The doctor's there, and she hears the baby crying. She says, "Oh my God, what is it? What is it?" And the doctors say, "We don't know what it is, but it's healthy." So we don't know if it would be a boy or a girl, but Andrea picked out two names. Lara, if it's going to be a girl, and Lauren, it was going to be a boy. And it was named after my father, whose name was Louis. So in the Jewish religion, the culture, after somebody passes away, you want them to continue their name to be continued on. So you name the next baby a name after that person. But you don't give them the same name, but it's a name that begins with an L, with the... Anyway, we were going to call the kid Lauren if it was a boy, and Lara if it was a girl. And then I had an audition for Doghouse. And I go to the audition, and the producers and the writers were also the producers and writers of Full House at that time. Big Shots. I don't know if you know the sitcom Full House. And I go and I read the character, and I knew how to play the character. I didn't do my late night dating shows yet. I was an actor from Philadelphia, and I came to Toronto. My in-laws, I met my wife in the... You want to hear this? You got time? I was performing in the Catskill Mountains. I was part of a comedy team like Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, if you know who that is. My wife was a guest. It was like Dirty Dancing, and we fell in love, and that's the way it was. I was performing in different clubs. Then my in-laws who lived in Toronto said, "You should come to Toronto," because I'm from Philadelphia. And we moved to Philly, and I was going to New York, going to catacall auditions where they'd be calling number one, and I'd be 110 on the list, have to be there all day. And my in-law said, "In Toronto, they're making movies in every corner. This is the place to be." I said, "All right, so I'll come here, become a big fish in a small pond, and then I'll go to Hollywood, be a big star." So I came to Toronto. I was very lucky. I did a bunch of series, and I did a show called After Hours on CBC with Alex Amini, who was with Mr. T on the TV show Mr. TNT. I worked with Al Pacino on Sea of Love. I was his stand-in for 3 months, a movie that was shot here. And then in 1990, I had an audition for Doghouse. So I went, and I had the script, and I knew how to play the character, Lauren Glickman, all that crap. And then I read, and on the way home, we didn't have cell phones at that time. We only had, 2 cans and a string. There were no cell phones. Then we had beepers. 1990, yeah, there were no cell phones. I don't even think there were computers. I'm on the subway coming home, and my beeper goes off. So I think I must have gotten off the train to call Andrea. And she says, "I just left the audition. They want to offer you the part. Your agent just called." My agent. I was with Characters. It was a big agency at that time. I used to tell people that my agent couldn't book Lassie into a kennel. So my wife, I called my wife. She said, "They want to offer you the part of Lauren Glickman." I just left, which is unusual to go to an audition and you get the part right away. And once I got the part, once they called me, I knew then my kid was going to be a boy. I knew it was a sign. I'm getting the character Lauren, and my wife's pregnant, and we don't have a boy or a girl. So we knew then it was going to be a boy, and we knew then the sign of playing Lauren, we were going to have a boy. And we did have a boy named Lauren. I think he's a boy, and he talks a little funny. Hope he's not watching this. So I got that part of Lauren Glickman, and my deal was $56,000, I think, for 6 months, whether I work or not. Whether I work or not, I was making $56,000, I think, for 6 months, whether I work or not. I thought it was a great deal. And we shot it in this studio where they shot the movie Cocktails with Tom Cruise. And I played in a scene with Tom Cruise. There's a fight, and I'm there in the scene. And I went to get my check. And after I went to get my check at that studio, I walked in, I saw somebody sitting at a desk. I said, where do I get the check? Where's accounting? And he pointed over here. And then I realized that was Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy was in Toronto shooting the movie 2.5 Men or something like that, with Tom Selleck and Ted Danson. I didn't realize it was, but all right. But I shot, yes, I had a ball playing the character of Lauren Glickman. It was all sets built. My office was a set. Everything was all sets. Shelley Peterson was wonderful, and her husband was the premier at that time. And the house was a set, and they had different directors for every episode. And yes, Ted and the crazy British neighbor, whatever it was. And it was on USA Network, and it was on YTV. It was a lot of fun playing that crazy character, whatever I played. And then I came in one day for work, and they said, did you hear? And I said, what? And they said, the show's canceled. It was only picked up for one season, and then it was canceled. That's why there's only one season. I don't know why they... YTV, I think, wanted a comedy. The story I heard. USA Today wanted... That's a newspaper. USA Network wanted a detective drama. So Paragon Entertainment, that produced it, they put the two together because they wanted money from USA Network and they wanted money from YTV. They said, yeah, we got a comedy, we got a detective drama. They put it, and for whatever reason. So it was only one season. But I didn't know there was a group, a Facebook group. Who knows Doghouse? Is it playing anywhere? But please share with me the link of this group or this fan base, because I'd love to be a part of it, and I'll share more stories like I'm sharing with you now. I had a beautiful office there. I had a director's chair they gave me. I remember the makeup girl, the costume girl. It was a lot of fun, and playing this over-the-top character that owned this real estate agent, and then the one scene, I don't know if I haven't seen the scene since I shot it while I was on stage. I was the MC. I remember the episode when I'm directing the commercial for the dog, and I'm going cut. It was a lot of fun, and I worked with some big directors. One of the directors, I can't remember his name, he directed the Midnight Special that was in the 70s, the 1870s. But they were big directors. A different director came in every week, and we had a table read. And I remember we'd get the script beforehand, and I read the script. Then I go to the table read before we shoot that week, and all the actors there reading the lines, and I was reading the lines at the table. People are laughing, and I'm thinking, didn't anybody read the script? What are they laughing at? We all know what the lines are. And then somebody said to me, because when you read the lines, it's in your head, but when you hear other actors read the lines, it's different, and that's why they're all laughing the way So all movies, all television shows have table reads before they start shooting. And Perry Roseman was also one of the directors, who was a big comedy director in Toronto. So I was very lucky to work with these directors and to play. And they let me be over the top like I was, and which is what I do now on TikTok. But you're all wonderful, and I appreciate you doing this, whatever you did, Cameo, and being huge fans on TikTok. And please make me or send me a link, whatever, to this group, and I'll tell you more stories. So obviously you're very funny. Yes, funny. Ted was doing on the Mary Tyler Moore show. He was playing the weatherman, Ted the weatherman. That's the character that he played. But it was a lot of fun playing Lauren Glickman, and it's very close to me because when I got the role, my kid Lauren was born at that same time when I got the role, and my agent said flowers. It was a wonderful time because I got this big gig, this big television gig. You're all wonderful. Thank you, Erin and Tara, for signing up to my Cameo, and make me whatever you have to do. Make me part of this group, and I'll tell you wonderful stories. Thank you, and please keep watching my TikToks. You're wonderful. Thank you for being huge fans.